Don't bother coming tomorrow, Mom said flatly over the phone. Grandma passed away, disappointed in you. Her voice had that icy calm she reserved for punishments disguised as information. Before I could respond, the line went dead. I stood in my tiny apartment kitchen, still holding the phone to my ear long after the call ended. Disappointed in me? Grandma? The woman who used to braid my hair while humming hymns, who slipped me $5 bills with a wink when Mom wasn't looking. The city hummed outside, traffic, laughter, a dog barking, life moving forward while mine had just frozen in disbelief. Hi everyone, my name is Tessa Marin, I'm 27. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. Because what if the people who taught you love also mastered deception? I went to Grandma's house the next morning anyway. The curtains were drawn, the gate locked. Mom's car wasn't there. Neither was my aunt's. But through the side window I saw the lilies I'd brought last week, wilted but still in the same vase. No sign of mourning. No candles. No scent of grief. I knocked until my knuckles burned. A neighbor peeked through her blinds and whispered, "Honey, your grandma's been gone for months. Didn't they tell you?" I felt my stomach twist. Once. She nodded, eyes full of pity. There was no funeral here. They handled it quietly. When I got home I dialed Grandma's number, more out of instinct than hope. To my shock someone answered. "Hello." The voice was old, shaky, familiar. "Grandma." I whispered. Pause. Then click. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it echo in my ears. That night I opened my old emails, the ones from Grandma's address. The last one, dated 6 months ago, said, "Don't believe everything they tell you, my little dove. When the time comes, look for the envelope." An envelope? Where? I lay awake till dawn, the city lights blinking against my ceiling like Morse code. Something was very wrong. And by the time the lawyer called for the will reading, I already knew. The dead weren't the only ones who could keep secrets. The law office smelled faintly of lemon polish and old paper, that specific scent of secrets sealed in files. Mom and Aunt Carol were already seated when I arrived. They didn't look surprised to see me, just mildly irritated, like I'd shown up uninvited to a private dinner. Mom crossed her legs, smoothing her beige skirt. "I told you not to come, Tessa. It's over. Don't make this harder." "Harder for who?" I asked quietly. "For you." The lawyer, a thin man with silver-framed glasses, cleared his throat. "Let's begin." He read the usual formalities. Property distributions, accounts, sentimental items. My name didn't appear once. But then he stopped, adjusting his glasses again. "There is one final instruction. A sealed letter, to be opened only in the presence of all immediate family." Mom froze. Aunt Carol's hand trembled against her pearl necklace. "I thought we agreed," Mom started, but the lawyer had already broken the wax seal. He unfolded the letter slowly. The paper was cream, edges faintly yellowed, written in Grandma's unmistakable cursive. "If this is being read, it means I've left this world, but not without clarity. To my daughters Linda and Carol, you've built your lives on control, deceit, and greed. You told my granddaughter I died disappointed in her. That lie alone tells me everything about your hearts. Tessa, if you are here, know this. The trust, the house, and the investments are in your name now. The paperwork is complete. I kept copies with Mr. Adams, and one other person who will make sure justice is done. Remember what I told you, the envelope. Check behind my bedroom mirror." The room went silent except for the tick of the clock on the wall. Mom's face drained of color. "This is absurd. She wasn't in her right mind." Aunt Carol's voice cracked. "We can contest." The lawyer's calm cut through them. "You can try. But everything was notarized and filed 6 months ago. 6 months ago, the same time Grandma's death was supposedly staged." Mom stood up abruptly. "You ruined everything," she hissed. But I just smiled faintly. "No, Mom. You did." When I got home that night, the air felt thicker, like the walls were holding their breath. I locked the door behind me, then stood in the dark for a moment, replaying every word from that letter. Check behind my bedroom mirror. Grandma's house had always smelled faintly of lavender and old wood. When I slipped through the gate the next morning, the lock had been changed, but the side window, the one she used to wave from, was still loose. I pried it open with a kitchen knife and crawled in. Dust hung in golden beams. Everything looked frozen, as if she'd left mid-sentence. The mirror was right where it always hung, above her dresser covered in hairpins and faded photos. My hands trembled as I lifted it. Behind it, taped to the wall, was a thick manila envelope. My name written across it in her cursive. For Tessa only. I tore it open. Inside were documents, bank transfers, property deeds, and pages of typed notes. But what caught my breath was the last page. A printed call log. Dates. Times. Numbers. One number repeated several times. The same one I'd called the night someone answered pretending to be Grandma. Underneath it, in Grandma's handwriting. They're using my phone. Don't trust any message unless it's signed, Dove's Keeper. I sank onto her bed, heart hammering. They'd kept her hidden, silenced her, maybe worse. Suddenly, headlights flared across the window. A car door slammed. Mom's voice rang through the front door. Tessa, I know you're in there. Open this door right now. I froze. She had keys. As the knob twisted, I slid the envelope under the loose floorboard by the bed and stepped back into the shadows. The door creaked open. Mom stood there, her expression cold, a set of fresh locks dangling from her hand. Breaking and entering now? You've really lost it. I met her gaze, steady. You should have made sure I never found out what you did. She smiled thinly. Oh, sweetheart. You have no idea how much I already have. Mom stepped closer, her heels clicking against the hardwood like a slow countdown. You think she loved you more than us? She sneered, scanning the room. That woman was losing her mind. We took care of her while you ran off chasing your little independence phase. I didn't respond. Her perfume, sharp and expensive, filled the room, smothering the faint lavender that still lingered from Grandma's things. She turned toward the dresser. You didn't happen to find anything, did you? Her tone was syrupy now, the same one she used when she was lying. I forced my voice steady. Just memories. She studied my face, then walked out with a smirk. Good. Leave it that way. When her car finally pulled away, I exhaled for the first time. My knees nearly gave out. I dropped to the floor, pried up the board, and retrieved the envelope. Inside, another folded paper slipped out that I hadn't noticed before. Handwritten, fragile. If you're reading this, they've already spun their stories. Go to the safe deposit box at First Midtown Bank. Code 4276. Inside you'll find what they tried to bury. By dawn I was sitting in the bank's sterile lobby, the envelope clutched in my hands. The manager led me to a small room. Mrs. Marin's box, correct? I nodded. The metallic click echoed like thunder in the quiet space. Inside the box were photos. Grandma sitting in a nursing facility, dated weeks after her supposed death. Letters. Recordings on small drives labeled with dates. One of them was marked simply, The Confession. I plugged it into the room's small monitor. The video flickered to life. Grandma appeared, thinner, paler, but alive. Her voice quivered, but her eyes burned clear. If anything happens to me, Tessa, know this. Your mother and aunt moved me here against my will. They took my accounts. They said it was for my own good, but they lied. The nurse here, Mary, knows everything. I pressed pause, tears blurring my vision. My hands shook. They hadn't just lied. They'd rewritten her death and profited from it. The rest of that day blurred like a dream I couldn't wake from. Every image of Grandma in my mind, her laugh, her humming, now felt like a clue I'd ignored. Mary. The nurse. That was my next step. The facility was an hour away, hidden behind sycamore trees and a faded sign that read Willow Haven Care Home. The receptionist looked startled when I gave Grandma's name. She was discharged months ago, she said carefully. By who? The woman hesitated. Her daughters. They said they were transferring her to private care. I showed her the recording. The color drained from her face. Oh God, that's not what she told me. She said she was being taken somewhere she didn't want to go. She handed me a slip of paper. Mary doesn't work here anymore. But she left a note for anyone who came asking about your grandmother. The note was short, written in hurried script. Tessa, if you find this, your grandma was terrified of your mother. She said there was money missing and a fake death certificate. The proof was sent to her lawyer and someone she trusted even more. Check her old post office box, 718. That night I drove to the small-town post office under a pale orange sky. The metal box creaked open easily, maybe too easily. Inside was another envelope. This one held a single photograph. Mom and Aunt Carol standing in Grandma's living room beside a document on the table. Her will. Only, Grandma's signature was missing. A note was scribbled on the back. They forged it after she refused to change it. My pulse raced as headlights appeared in the rearview mirror, the same black SUV from the lawyer's office. I slid the photo into my jacket, heart pounding. Then my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Stop digging or you'll lose everything she left for you. Dove's keeper." My breath caught. That phrase. Only Grandma and I knew it. So who was sending me messages now? The message glowed on my screen like a ghost. "Stop digging or you'll lose everything she left for you. Dove's keeper." I read it 3 times, fingers trembling. Dove's keeper. Grandma's secret sign-off, the one she said she'd use if someone ever tried to impersonate her. But she was gone. At least that's what I'd been told. I texted back. "Who are you?" No reply. That night I barely slept. The rain whispered against my window, the kind of slow rhythm that makes time feel stretched and unreal. I pulled out the old envelope again, spreading its contents across my coffee table. Deeds, statements, letters. Until one faint name caught my eye at the bottom of a notarized form. J. Mason, witness. The same surname as Grandma's attorney, Mr. Adams Mason. The next morning I went back to the law office. He looked startled when I walked in. "Tessa, I didn't expect you. I got a message last night. From Dove's keeper." His face paled instantly. He shut the door. "You shouldn't have replied." "What does that mean?" I asked, my heart pounding. He rubbed his temples, then opened a locked drawer and pulled out another sealed envelope. "Your grandmother instructed me to give you this only if certain people contacted you using that name. It means someone is tampering with what she left behind." Inside was a USB drive and a short letter in Grandma's handwriting. "If anyone reaches out as Dove's keeper, it's not me. The real keeper is you. Watch the footage before they erase it." He inserted the USB. The screen flickered to life, showing Mom and Aunt Carol in Grandma's study signing documents, laughing quietly. The timestamp, 2 weeks before her death announcement. "Where did you get this?" I whispered. "Your grandmother installed hidden cameras," Mason said. "She knew they'd try to take everything." My phone buzzed again. Another message. "You've made your choice, Tessa. We warned you." When I looked up, Mason's office window reflected a black SUV pulling up outside. He muttered, "They're here." Mr. Mason locked his drawer and shoved the USB into my hand. "Go," he whispered. "There's a back exit through the archives." Outside, the air was sharp with rain and exhaust. I sprinted through the alley behind the law office, heart hammering as tires screeched somewhere close. My breath came in gasps, the kind that make you taste metal. I didn't stop until I reached the old train station 2 blocks away. I ducked into the waiting area, sat behind a vending machine and played the footage again, this time slower. Mom's voice was crystal clear. "Once it's signed, we'll tell everyone she passed peacefully. Then transfer the assets before Tessa gets curious." Aunt Carol nodded, flipping through papers. "What about the nurse?" "She's been paid." Then a sound, a knock at the door in the background and Grandma's weak voice. "Linda, please don't do this." Mom turned cold. "You always said I was your biggest disappointment. Let's make it official." I paused the video. My chest burned. My mother had killed her in every way but literal breath. Erased her, replaced her, rewrote her. I texted the only person who could help. Mary, the nurse. Her reply came minutes later. "I've been waiting for your message. Meet me where she used to buy bread. 6 p.m. At dusk, I drove to the little bakery near Grandma's church. The neon sign flickered as rain dotted the windows. Mary was already there, older than I remembered, her eyes tired but kind. She slid a folder across the table. She left me copies of everything. The real death certificate, her medical records, all showing she was alive weeks after they announced her gone. I opened the file, my throat tight. "Why didn't you come forward? They threatened my license. And my son." Before I could respond, my phone vibrated again. A new message. "If you go public, we'll release your part in this too." I frowned. "Pie part?" Mary's hand tightened over mine. "Tessa, they forged her while using your old signature as the witness." The room tilted. Everything I'd been fighting for, now tainted by my own name. The words hit like a slap. "They used my signature." I could barely breathe. All those childhood visits, all those times Mom made me practice signing papers for fun. It hadn't been fun at all. It had been training. Mary's voice trembled. Your grandmother suspected they might do it. That's why she made that video confession. She wanted you to know it wasn't your fault. Tears blurred the papers before me. She knew. She always knew. That night I went back to Mr. Mason's office. Together we gathered everything. The USB footage, the forged documents, the nurse's testimony, and the letter from the safe deposit box. He smiled faintly. Your grandmother planned for every move. This was her final checkmate. The next morning, the reading of the amended will took place in court. Mom and Aunt Carol sat side by side, pale, trembling, pretending composure. The lawyer submitted the evidence. The judge's tone was sharp, cutting. The original will was forged. Mrs. Marin's true intentions were to leave her estate to her granddaughter, Miss Tessa Marin, as documented in both handwriting and recorded testimony. Mom shot up from her seat. She was senile. This is all manipulated. The judge's gavel struck once, echoing like thunder. Enough. Silence. Aunt Carol buried her face in her hands. Mom stared straight ahead, her eyes empty, the way people look when they realize control has slipped forever. Afterward, I walked outside into the sun. For the first time in months, the air didn't feel heavy. I drove to Grandma's old house, opened the curtains and let light flood the room. Behind the mirror, I placed a single lily and the letter she'd written me, the one that started it all. My little dove, when the truth hurts, let it build you. Don't fight fire with rage, fight it with truth. That's the only revenge that lasts. I smiled through tears. Outside, the wind rustled through the garden she planted. Soft, forgiving. Their little empire of lies had finally collapsed, not by destruction but by revelation. And I finally understood what peace felt like.